Hello students, welcome to YouTube channel Vidya for Success.
Dear students, in this video, let us study what are the rules of tabulation. Along with this, let us also understand what are the different types of tables. As you know, a table will be giving us the detailed information regarding all the values collected. So if you want to understand a table, then the data put forward in the table need to be in a pleasant format so that it will summarize all the information. So there is no hard and fast rule which says a table should have so many number of columns or rows, it should have such and such rule. No, so no such hard and fast rules are not there, but we will follow some general points so that the table will convey the information to a common man. So that's why let us understand what are the rules of tabulation which are required. So the first rule is size. What does it mean? It means size of the table. So what is a table? Table is nothing but a collection of rows and columns. So a table can have any number of rows and any number of columns, but if there are too many number of rows and too many number of columns, then it will be difficult for us to study the data present within the table. So there, and also the size of the table should be fitted with respect to the paper size of the paper. So according to the size of the paper, now we have to consider the number of rows and columns. So that's why before considering a table, we need to make a appropriate consideration with respect to the number of rows and along with number of columns. Not only that, we also take into we need to consider what should be the table width with respect to the size of the paper. So there is a first rule. The second rule is logical order. Yes, of course, within the table we will be presenting the data. So we will be considering rows, we will be considering columns. But how these data are put forward? What is the order of arrangement of these data? Whether the data are arranged according to the alphabet, or they are arranged according to time, that is chronological order, or they are ordered according to the geography, that is geographical order. So which particular order is taken into consideration? If the data are arranged according to a particular set order, then reading the data will be easy. For example, in the examination results, so if I want to identify a particular person's result, then I can find it out by his register number or by his name. So how I'm going to arrange the data within this table? So the data will be arranged either alphabetically by their names, student names, or by their register numbers in a particular order. So that it will be easy for us to dig out for the data. Next, the third rule is table should not be overloaded. What does it mean? Table should not be overloaded means it should not consist of too many characteristics. If there are too many different types of characteristics, then the complete data becomes irrelevant. That is, you cannot study anything. For example, let us say a table is having students information. So register number, name of the student, place of birth, birth, father name, mother name, caste, religion, physical activities, marks in each and all the subjects. So here there are too many different datas, too many different characteristics are considered here. So then this particular table will be completely overloaded. So it will be difficult for us to study and to make certain analysis. So that's why always table should not be overloaded. Next rule is should be complete. So what do you mean by complete? It means that the table should not be left with any piece of data. For example, if I am representing a student table, or if I am representing the sugarcane production in a particular country, then I need to consider all the data which is necessary to put forward the facts. If I miss out the production of a particular year, or what was the production in terms of tons in a particular year, then it will become incomplete. So always table should have a complete data in all respects. The next rule is no cell should be left blank. So usually it is a practice of people working with tables to leave empty spaces. by putting either dash mark or else by putting NA, that is not available. No such thing should be present in a particular table. If such a thing is present in a table, then you cannot make analysis. So that's why no cells should be left blank. The next rule is miscellaneous columns. So what do you mean by miscellaneous columns? Nothing but columns which provide for the presentation of ratios, percentages, etc. of the data can be there. So if, for example, if you want to give you extra information for the common people, common men, then that can be provided with the help of miscellaneous columns. Extra, will be adding some extra columns. Okay. Next, the rule is ditto, that is nothing but similarly. So some of the cells will be filled with a ditto mark. Okay, so no such ditto mark should be used. So with the ditto mark is nothing but double quotation mark. No such mark should be used, which will confuse the reader. We cannot make analysis. Okay, so that should be avoided. Similarly, the eighth important rule is footnote. So every table at the bottom left hand side, they have to carry the footnote. Along with that, they have to also carry the source. So the footnote will explain what are the omissions, and also it will consider what are the remarks that has been made here. For example, some of the tables will be carrying star mark, cap symbols. So what does they convey here in this particular table? Sometimes there will be values will be mentioned in terms of rupees. What is rupees? What is meant by dollar symbol? Dollar symbol maybe will be American dollar, or maybe it may be an Australian dollar. What dollar here it indicates? So all this information, extra information will be explained in the footnote. Along with that, the ninth important rule is source. Source will also convey us the place from where we have collected the data, whether we have collected data from an organization or a particular magazine, journal, or whether any particular publication. So that will be mentioned at the source. So these are the rules which we need to consider for any table. Okay. Now let us study what are the different types of tables. Yes, now we are having data after performing a particular survey or investigation. These data, in order to understand in a better way, in order to make proper analysis, we need to put forward them in a table. So how to construct a table? What are the parameters that should be considered? So how are you going to classify the types of tables? So here the classification of table is purely done on the basis of purpose. For what purpose we are considering a table, and also on the nature of data. So data may be of different types. They may be of having certain characteristics. So on all these three parameters, that is purpose, nature of the data, and number of characteristics involved in them, on these three parameters the complete table can be classified. So they are classified into three types. The first one is simple or one-way table. Second is two-way table, and the third one is manifold table. So these are the three different ways of representing data in a tabular form. Either we can go with a single one-way table, or data can be represented in a two-way table, or we can represent them in a manifold table. Let us understand each one of them in detail. So the first one, simple or one-way table. So what is simple or one-way table? So if, for example, let us say that in a locality, in a particular neighborhood, there are 100 people residing. So each person will be performing a particular occupation. Some of them may be a labor, some of them may be a clerk, maybe a attender, an officer, a manager, or doctor, engineer, anyone he can be. He will be doing some occupation. So depending upon his or her occupation, we are classifying them. Number of residents belonging to which particular occupation. So here what is the reason of considering the table? Here we have classified the table depending upon only one characteristics. Okay, so if only one characteristic is represented in a table, then such table is referred as a simple or a one-way table. So what is one-way table? A table which represents a single characteristic. For example, a resident of a certain locality can be classified according to their occupation. Okay, in a resident there may be 100 or 500 people living. So how they are classified? According to the work they are doing, occupation they are in. On that basis they are classified. Please notice here, completely the number of residents are classified. How they are classified? They are classified depending upon the occupation. Okay, some of them may be office assistants, some of them may be businessmen, teachers, bank employees. So we will be writing their number of residents, and also finally we will be finding their total. So this is a simple one-way classification. This is referred as one-way table. Next, second one is two-way table. So what do you mean by two-way table? So here, if we characterize, or else if we classify the table on two characteristics, okay, if two characteristics are represented in a table, then it is called as two-way table. Okay, so what is a two-way table? If two characteristics are represented in a table, it is referred as two-way table. So please let me consider an example here. The resident of a certain locality are classified according to their occupation and sex. So here there are two characteristics. The first characteristic is occupation, what occupation they are in, and another one sex, whether they are male or female. On these two parameters, on these two characteristics, the complete residents are classified. So let us go through the table here. So please notice here. So here the rows, what does these rows indicate? These rows indicates their occupation. So first characteristic. So we have considered one characteristic in the rows. Similarly, another characteristic, that is whether they are male or female or men or women, they are considered in columns. Okay, so please notice here. So it is very easy. So when are you going to consider a two-way table? When you need to represent or present two characteristics. Okay, here either stub. What do you mean by stub? Stubs are nothing but row headings. Stubs or captions, or both, are divided into two characteristics. So but please here notice here occupation we have considered in the rows, and here sex, here we have considered them in columns. Here sex, that is men and women, again they are classified into two more columns here. So this is a two-way table. Next, manifold table. So what do you mean by manifold table? If more than two characteristics are need to be presented. So if I want to represent two or more than two characteristics, let us say we want to represent occupation, we want to represent sex, we want to represent their marital status, whether they are married or single. So now there are three characteristics. So if there is a scenario, if there is a situation demanding us to represent more than two characteristics, then that can be represented via manifold table. Okay, so what is manifold table? If more than two characteristics are represented in a table, it is called manifold table. So here please notice here, again I have considered a resident of a particular locality. How I am represented them in table? Depending upon three primary characteristics. The first characteristic is occupation. Second characteristic is depending upon their sex, whether they are men or women. Similarly, again within men, again I have gone for one more classification, whether they are married or single. Here also, whether they are married or single women. Finally, the total number of married women, similarly total number of single. So here, as you can notice, there are more than two characteristics are there. One is occupation, second one is sex, third one is marital status. So if this type of table need to be presented, then we have to go with a manifold table. So in this video, I have explained to you what are the rules of forming a table, and along with that I have told you what are the different types of tables. Okay, there are three different types of table. One-way table, where we will be considering only one characteristic, and second one is two-way table. Here we will be considering two characteristics. So among these two characteristics, they can be considered as stub or caption headings. Okay, sometimes these either caption can be divided into two, or we can consider stub can be divided into two. And the third way of representing a table is, third type of table is manifold table. So here we will be representing more than two characteristics. So here either stubs or captions are divided into two or more parts. So here please notice here occupation is not divided into further columns, further rows, but here we have divided the column into further columns. Please notice here men is further divided into married and single. Similar, women is further divided into married and single. So here what happens in manifold table, here stubs or captions are divided into two or more parts. So this is what manifold table meant by. Okay, so with this I am going to end this video. Thank you.